I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record Newswatch. A more than 3-year-old City of Middletown murder case has apparently been solved. A suspect is now in custody in connection with the killing of 59-year-old Middletown resident Robert Kwiatkowski back in April of 2008. 19-year-old Atik Weston of Middletown was arraigned on a second-degree murder charge. He had been paroled last Friday after serving time as a juvenile offender for first-degree assault for a pair of unrelated stabbing incidents. Kwiatkowski was fatally slashed along Wickham Avenue as he was walking home from work. Atik Weston would have been 15 years old at the time Kwiatkowski was killed. He is due back in Middletown City Court Thursday, but his case may be held over for grand jury action. Much of the snow is melted away, but for thousands of Catskills and Hudson Valley residents, the misery is far from over. Thousands of residents still have no power after the heavy, wet snow brought down branches and power lines throughout the region. On Sunday, the massive cleanup effort got underway as crews with Orange and Rockland, Central Hudson, and New York State Electric and Gas scrambled to identify the areas in the dark and to begin the process of getting neighborhoods back online. With weather-related problems from storms Irene and Lee still fresh in our memory, many of those who live in more remote areas are angry and frustrated with the slow response once their lights went out.
We're a problem area for power outages, and we've been out a great deal in the last 6 months. And what happened is Orange and Rockland responds very slowly to our outages, and what happens is we're not a priority area, and we have no water, we have no phone service, we can't even get cell service up here. So in an emergency situation, what happens is we're in harm's way because of it. And they said that they'll get to us when they can get to us, and they'll be restoring power for the next week. I can't do without a week. I have no heat, I have no water, I have nothing. So I have no phone service, absolutely nothing, and it's terrifying, and it's very frustrating.
One of the region's hardest hit areas was the village of Goshen, where large snow-covered branches and electrical lines came crashing down, forcing the closing of several streets. Ken McNally was using the snow to preserve some of the food that had been stored in his refrigerator.
We've stored some of food outside to keep the refrigerator kind of cold rather than putting it inside the house. We kept it out in the snow just so it'll keep cold, but without using any last coldness out of the refrigerator, absorbing the heat from that.
For Ken, some good news came right after our conversation.
Power just went back on, our neighbor says. Fantastic. Stay on now.
A lot of folks have not been nearly as lucky. And utility officials in Orange, Ulster, and Dutchess counties say it could be days before service is restored to all the impacted areas. Now keep checking back here at Record Online for the latest information on the recovery from our October snowstorm. Elsewhere, state police are looking for the driver of a pickup truck following a fatal hit-and-run incident Sunday night in the town of Deer Park. Investigators say 53-year-old Daniel Lindsay of Wurtsboro was struck and killed while he was walking across Route 209 in front of Tanky's garage in Godefroy. Lindsay was pronounced dead after being rushed to Bon Secours Hospital. State police were looking for a dark-colored pickup truck with a yellow plow attached. A witness told police the driver initially stopped but drove off moments later. A Middletown man was ordered held on $50,000 bail after he reportedly pulled a gun on a woman, her daughter, and granddaughter outside the Orange Plaza. Town of Wallkill police say 24-year-old Rashid Weston pulled the gun during an argument with the 38-year-old woman. She ran into a store and called 911. Arriving officers took Weston into custody on charges of reckless endangerment, menacing, endangering the welfare of a child, and felony drug possession. Police did not recover the handgun, but they say Weston was holding a quantity of heroin. A spooktacular Halloween tradition continued this morning in the village of Wurtsboro, where all sorts of goblins and ghosts were walking the streets during the annual Halloween parade, starring the staff and students from the Emma Chase Elementary School. The parade has been a fixture for years in Wurtsboro, and former students who enjoyed participating in the event now get to watch their kids parade with their school classmates.
I'm from Wurtsboro, and as a child I marched in this parade for every year, kindergarten through 5th grade.
Have any relatives in this?
I do. My daughter is in 1st grade now, and my nephew's in 1st grade as well.
So you had to come see it?
Yes, couldn't miss it. It's a nice community and a good event.
Take a good look. You may see some of these young boys and ghouls when you answer the door tonight. And who says kids should have all the fun? The power outage in Wurtsboro Sunday wasn't about to stop proud pet owners from showing off their costume-clad canines during the annual Halloween Pet Parade and Costume Contest at Veterans Park in the village. Dogs outfitted in all sorts of Halloween finery competed in a variety of costume categories, including the prettiest and ugliest. The popular event is sponsored by the Wurtsboro Board of Trade and Sudsy Paws Pet Services. And forget about candy. These four-legged trick-or-treaters had their own goodies to enjoy for Halloween. It'll be a good night for trick-or-treaters, even if they have to walk through a little snow to get to your house. And after all the problems this past weekend, our weather will be more treat than trick in the days ahead. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow after some morning cloudiness. The highs will reach the mid-50s. Wednesday will be mostly sunny with temperatures getting up around 50 degrees. For the latest weather-related news, keep clicking back here at Record Online and get caught up on all that happened today by picking up tomorrow's edition of the Times-Herald Record. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Baxter.